Arsenal-West Ham, always an interesting fixture. Arsenal terrific on Tuesday, I thought. What happens when they go to the London Stadium, Troy? Because their away form in the Premier League is not great. They haven't won any of their last four, losing at Bournemouth and Newcastle.
Yeah, but I think this is a game that suits them. I think West Ham are going to... They try and sit off West Ham and counter-attack under this new manager. But I think when they're away from home, it works better. With the crowd, there's an expectation that they go and take the opposition on. And I think with Odegaard being in that little 10 position and where he rotates out to the right-hand side, between him and Saka, they're going to cause all sorts of trouble. But I can see it being a 3-1 Arsenal.
Since Odegaard came back, the goals have started to flow again. It just shows how a vital cog he is in their wheel.
Yeah, we were really impressed with the link-up between him and Saka against Forest last weekend, albeit Forest far from at their best. But he makes a huge difference, and I think... The point Troy made earlier about not giving City any dispensation for injuries is valid, but certainly Odegaard is a massive loss when he's not there for Arsenal. They need him to stay fit, and I tend to agree with Troy, and I know you got a bit of stick from West Ham fans for describing their win over Newcastle as smash and grab, but I'm not entirely convinced I see that as a corner turned. I think Arsenal will win. They won 6-0 in this game last season.
I thought they defended well and then
you upset the Hammers, didn't you?
Yeah, don't try and turn it on me because you've been called salty this morning. Otherwise we'll get you dancing.
I called everything that was going to happen, so...
You did. You were on H&J earlier in the day, weren't you?
And I was getting slaughtered for it. But
Even a stop clock is right twice a day.
Oh, wow. Negative again.
See?
Salty.
He can't help himself, can he? Salty
no, but you can see that with the set pieces, they're a problem, and they do well. I just think, I don't know, at home something needs to change for West Ham. I don't know what it is.
The atmosphere needs to change. I did the Everton game, and listen, it was absolutely
garbage. Blaming the fans now?
Well, no. Not blaming the fans, but they need something at home to get behind, and they didn't get anything in that game. And honestly, it was so dead in the stadium, and that would worry me if I was David Sullivan, because they weren't even angry, the West Ham fans. It was almost apathy.
Which is a bit of a shame, really, because it has been a reasonably a good couple of years. I was in Prague with them when they won the Conference League. We had the best time ever. It was brilliant. And that moment when Bowen scores the goal, I think we'll all remember that for the rest of our lives, because it was such a massive
They're a great fan base.
point. And they're enthusiastic. So the fact that they feel a little bit sort of...
The question is, what can they believe in at the moment? What can they believe in? That's
can they believe in getting a result against Arsenal, I suppose, is the primary question.
It's the primary question right now, and that they could, even the most hardened West Ham fan would have to make up some make-believe that if, Odegaard's off it and Saka's off it and this person's off it, and if they don't have Gabriel and Saliba...
But Gabriel actually might not play.
But I think when you look at their team, they go, right, we're not great at the back. I know we had a good result against Newcastle, we're not great at the back. Our goalkeeper's not great. Our midfield's not very energetic. We don't get after people. And other than Jared Bowen, who do I have to believe in? Paquetá, when he's on it, can be good, but hit and miss.
For a year.
Yeah,
Somerville's a good player.
But I'm saying he's just come in. You can't get behind that and go, right, he's going to take this game by the scruff of the neck. I just think if I was a West Ham fan, I'd be a little bit disillusioned with what I've seen over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
On Somerville, I was a little bit surprised it took him so long to get him in the team, because he played really well in the Chelsea game and then was dragged off and actually given a stand ovation. I was there by the West Ham supporters, and then they never saw him again. We are seeing Odegaard once again. He's back in the team, and his teammates certainly appreciate him. This is William Saliba talking about the Arsenal captain.
I think he's one of the best midfield in the world, so we are so happy to have him back, and we are better with him. So I hope he won't get injured again. And of course, we have to enjoy to play with him, and we can see since he's back we are better. Honestly, every game's I'm in shock, because every game he got something new, and of course he's a really, really top player.
What does he do, Martin Odegaard, that allows the other forward players to thrive? If you were playing with him, what would be the thing that you loved about him the most?
Well, the thing I love about him is he's not afraid to lose the ball. He always tries to play the forward pass. Very rarely does he get it off a centre-back and run 3 or 4 yards and play it straight to another midfielder square. I think he's always trying to find that risky pass. He loses the ball and he'll do it again. He brings energy, he brings creativity, but the way that he orchestrates, and we've been in a great vantage point, especially against Forest, he'll pull out onto the right-hand touchline and tell Saka to go inside. Now that creates just that little movement the midfielder goes, do I go wide or do I go inside? And as soon as it goes one way or the other, to him or to Saka, there's a constant movement and it just gets the whole thing flowing. And he's great. And the beauty of being injured and your team not doing well is you get better. You get better in your absence. Yeah. So Rodri
Did you ever have that?
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a contract or two of it, actually. But when you look at like Rodri at City, he looks even better now. And obviously his record's great when he's in the squad and he isn't. So I just think for him and Arsenal, the way that they play, he is really pivotal.
You used to think Arsenal will win the league, don't you?
I still think they're the value bet. That's what I think. I thought Liverpool would have a good season. I didn't think Manchester City would win the title. I thought Arsenal would. I think Liverpool have had a better season than I.
Why are you more confident with Arsenal than you are City?
Because currently? I still think there's more to come from Arsenal. I do think City, it's a season too far for them, and there are other deeper rooted problems. But I still think there's more to come from Arsenal. I do think, though, if Liverpool go 11 points clear, it's going to be a hell of an effort, or 9 points clear if Arsenal win their game, to be able to pull that back. But I think they're the value bet out of the three at this moment, because I think they've still got things to achieve. They haven't been at their very, very best, even when they were winning games earlier in the season.
I don't think anyone's been at their very best.
No,
yet.
well,
I don't think Liverpool's hit peak. I don't think there's been a game
on Wednesday night.
Yeah, but even that missed penalties from Mbappe changes things. You know, I know they missed a penalty as well, but I don't think there's been a game where you go, "Oh, that's Liverpool at their free-flowing best." And I don't think we said that with City, Arsenal, even Chelsea.
I thought Arsenal were very good last weekend. As I say, you have to carry that
and say that
Forest were poor. Yeah, and they followed that up with a brilliant win in Europe away from home, which has been an issue for them, not just this season, but in recent years. So I agree with you. I think if it's not Liverpool, I would make Arsenal the nearest challengers.
Well, let's see what happens. Mikel Arteta was pretty confident when we spoke to him this morning.
Well, if they continue that way, that's for sure. The numbers they're producing, the amount of games they are winning. But again, it's just the focus is on us, you know, and maintaining the consistency, especially in performances. That's going to give us the right to win a lot of games, keep the availability in the squad, keep everybody together. And this is a long run.
He will be kicking himself if they don't win the league this year because of the faltering in the autumn time, won't he? Bearing in mind, they've been gearing up to win the league for so long. They've been waiting for Manchester City to have a little bit of a dip. And as soon as that dip's come, they had one too.
Yeah, but he'd probably be able to label that the amount of injuries that he had to key players. So you can...
They've got to win something this year, though. He's not won a trophy since that FA Cup behind closed doors.
I asked that question earlier on in the season, if you remember, and got Arsenal fans saying I hated him again. So I don't know how it is. I just said the question I posed was, when does he have to win something? When does that pressure crank up? Because he's done an unbelievable job bringing them from where they was to where they are now.
It's a unbelievable job. Yeah.
But at some point, that goes away, doesn't it? And people want to start winning. I just think, look, the game's coming up. West Ham, we think they're going to win, but it's not an easy game. Man United, would you say, all seriousness, would you say it's a different game now as opposed to what it was 2 weeks ago?
United's record away from home against Arsenal is not great. So
and then they've got Fulham. So that's a nice 3 games that you would like. They're, in my opinion, they're 3 good games.
They lost at Fulham last year, didn't they?
But you can see jeopardy in every single game.
I remember that game. Was there an own goal in that game? I can't remember.
Definitely, I was there. It was New Year's Eve, and they just lost at home to West Ham.
New Year's Eve?
Are you sure? Because last time you said that,
no, they lost.
You was at the game, and you was adamant it was a score, and it wasn't.
I know why. I remember that game because
was you in hospitality? Or were you working?
No. I
treat the lights on or off.
I treated Mrs. Crook, who's a big gooner, to a day out, and they got beat, which I loved.
Was Callum Best there?
Maybe Fulham, one of his dad's old clubs. I think he's got a restaurant on the King's Road. So he may well have been.
You seem to have got quite a lot of knowledge about that.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.